sun streamed through the glass walls of the Rise Ride's headquarters, casting a golden glow over the sleek conference room where the company's brightest minds gathered. At the head of the table stood David Hahn, the lead software engineer. His eyes sparkled with excitement as he presented the latest innovation, a passenger-controlled comfort feature that allowed riders to adjust temperature and music settings from their phones. "No more awkward requests to the driver," David explained, flipping through slides. "Passengers will have full control, making their rides more personalized than ever." The room erupted in applause. The executives clapped, some exchanging knowing smiles. This was the game changer they had been waiting for. If this feature worked flawlessly, Rise Rides could finally compete with the giants. But at the far end of the table, Monica Carter remained quiet, her fingers lightly tapping against the polished wood. She should have been thrilled. This was a momentous leap for her company, her vision brought to life. But something nagged at her. "How do we know it's truly seamless?" she asked, her voice calm but firm. David hesitated. "Well, our internal testing has been successful so far." "So far?" Monica raised an eyebrow. "That's not good enough. If we roll this out and it fails, it could ruin customer trust. We're not just competing with other rideshares. We're trying to be better." The room fell silent. The weight of her words settled in. "Sit back and relax. This story has a twist you won't see coming. But before we dive in, let us know where you're watching from. Drop it in the comments." Monica leaned back in her chair, her mind racing. She had built Rise Rides from the ground up, pouring her sweat and soul into every decision. Unlike most CEOs, she hadn't inherited wealth or privilege. She had fought her way through every closed door, refusing to take no for an answer. She didn't just want a good company, she wanted a great one. And great companies didn't launch features on blind faith. Her executives exchanged glances, waiting for her verdict. Then she made up her mind. "I'll test the feature myself." David blinked. "You mean, personally?" "Yes." Monica's lips curled into a small smile. "I'll go undercover as a driver. If there's even a single issue, I want to experience it firsthand. Before our drivers do." Gasps rippled through the room. A CEO driving for her own company. It was unheard of. "Ma'am, we could get someone else." Her assistant Lauren began. Monica raised a hand. If I don't do this myself, how can I expect my team to care about quality?" A glimpse of admiration passed through the group. The decision was final. That afternoon, Monica changed her designer heels for sneakers, swapped her power suit for a female chauffeur's uniform, and logged into the Rise Rides app. She slid into the driver's seat of a sleek black SUV, her heart pounding with anticipation. Her first pickup was only minutes away, and she had no idea it would lead to one of the most unforgettable encounters of her life. She arrived at the luxurious Regency Hotel under the midday sun. The gold-trimmed doors swung open, and out strutted James Whitmore III, a man who moved like the world owed him something, dressed in a tailored navy suit and a gold watch flashing on his wrist. Monica watched through the rearview mirror as he approached, her fingers tightening slightly on the steering wheel. She had met hundreds of men like him in boardrooms, men who assumed authority simply because of their birthright, who believed power belonged to them and no one else. He yanked the door open and slid into the back seat without so much as a glance at her. "Finally, you showed up. Took you long enough," he muttered, adjusting his cuffs. Monica, staying in character, forced a polite smile. "Where to, sir?" "Skyline Tower, and step on it." His fingers flew across his phone screen, already distracted. She shifted into gear and eased onto the road, keeping her expression neutral. Minutes into the ride, the temperature in the car plummeted. The once cozy interior transformed into an icebox. At the same time, the speakers erupted with ear-splitting heavy metal music. Monica flinched, her body stiffening as the sudden chills seeped into her skin. This was it. The feature she was testing was in full effect. He was controlling the settings from his phone. Still, she played the part. "Sir, I don't know why it's doing that," she stammered, reaching for the AC controls, pretending to fiddle with the knobs. James looked up from his phone and let out a sharp, mocking laugh. "Wow, you don't even know how to operate your own car?" "Typical." Monica exhaled slowly, gripping the wheel a little tighter. Then he added with a smirk, "Guess education isn't your thing, huh?" Her pulse pounded in her ears, but she kept her voice even. "I'll try to fix it, sir." James leaned back, shaking his head. "This is why you people stay at the bottom." Monica felt a flicker of heat rise in her chest, but she swallowed it down. "People like you should stick to what they're good at. Driving." He adjusted his tie, his voice dripping with condescension. "Leave the modern stuff to those who actually understand it." She said nothing, her grip steady, her face an unreadable mask. He had no idea who he was talking to. James went back to his phone, chuckling to himself. He adjusted the settings again, blasting the heat this time, turning the music up, playing with her like she was some kind of toy. Monica endured it, every condescending remark, every dismissive chuckle, because soon, very soon, James Whitmore III was going to learn a lesson he would never forget. The car cruised smoothly down the bustling city streets. The ride had settled into a tense silence, the only sounds being the hum of the engine and the occasional ding of James Whitmore III's phone. Then, as if unable to tolerate silence for too long, James spoke. "You know, I'm actually looking into rideshare stocks," he said, his voice carrying the unmistakable arrogance of a man who believed he owned the world. "There's this new company, Rise Rides, trying to compete with Uber. I don't see it lasting long, though." Monica's fingers twitched against the steering wheel. "Oh," she said, keeping her voice neutral. "Why do you think so?" James let out a tisk and leaned back against the seat. "Oh, come on, some diversity hire probably runs it. No real leadership. These small companies pop up all the time, thinking they can go against the big guys. But let's be real, it takes more than wishful thinking and some charity hires to build an empire." Monica's jaw clenched, but outwardly, she remained composed. She had heard men like him talk like this before. She had sat in boardrooms filled with them, the ones who assumed a black woman couldn't possibly be at the top, the ones who believed she didn't belong. She took a slow, steady breath. "Interesting perspective," she murmured, hiding the amusement creeping up her spine. James continued, oblivious. "Honestly, the tech's not bad. I'll give them that. This feature, the one that lets me control the AC and music? Genius." Monica's fingers tightened around the wheel. Then, as they neared his destination, she pulled over to the curb. For the first time, she turned fully in her seat, meeting his gaze. James frowned. "What?" He blinked, sitting up. "What do you mean?" Monica held his stare, then reached into the glove compartment. She pulled out a sleek, embossed business card and flipped it over, revealing the name printed in bold letters. Monica Carter, CEO and founder. Rise Rides. A heavy silence slammed into the car. James's face drained of color, his lips parting slightly as if his brain was struggling to process what had just happened. Monica simply watched him, her expression unreadable. For the first time since stepping into the car, James Whitmore III was speechless, and Monica? She was just getting started. James Whitmore III sat frozen in the back seat, his jaw slightly open, as if the words on the business card were in a language he didn't understand. He blinked. Once. Twice. His Adam's apple bobbed as he swallowed hard. I didn't mean any offense. He let out a nervous chuckle, but it was weak, crumbling under the weight of his embarrassment. "You know how it is, just business talk, right? No hard feelings?" Monica tilted her head slightly, studying him. There was no anger in her expression, no raised voice, just calm, calculated power. "But you did mean it," she said smoothly. James tried again, shifting in his seat. "Listen, I was just—" "No need to explain," Monica cut in, her voice cool as glass. "I've met men like you my whole life. You assume power belongs to you and people who look like you, and you think success only comes in one shade? You're wrong." James flinched as if her words physically hit him. Monica exhaled, her fingers tapping lightly against the steering wheel. "And just so you know, you won't be investing in Rise Rides." His head snapped up. Wait, what?" She met his eyes in the rearview mirror, her lips curling into a small, knowing smile. "We don't take money from people like you." The color drained from James' face completely. "Look, he started, but the words died in his throat. Monica turned forward, shifting the car into park. "Now get out!" James hesitated, his hands clenching into fists. His breathing had gone uneven, his entire persona crumbling. The smug businessman, the untouchable investor, all gone. Monica didn't repeat herself. She didn't need to. James fumbled with the door handle and stumbled out, his movements awkward and clumsy, as if the weight of his own arrogance had finally crushed him. The door shut with a hollow thud behind him. For a moment he just stood there, adjusting his cuffs, trying to reassemble himself, but it was no use. In the reflection of the sleek black SUV, he saw a different man staring back at him. A man exposed, a man who had just been forced to confront the ugliest parts of himself. Monica didn't wait. She eased back onto the road, her grip on the wheel steady, the tension in her chest finally beginning to unwind. The feature worked. The test was a success. And James? He had just learned the hardest lesson of his life, one he would never forget. So, what do you think? Did James learn his lesson? Or do people like him ever really change? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you would have done in Monica's shoes. And if you love stories that inspire, surprise, and leave you thinking, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Because trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.